Everybody has an ego. If you somehow trip on their ego, if you somehow violate their ego, if you somehow make them feel insecure, you're going to pay a price. And if you go through life not realizing that, you're going to accumulate people with all kinds of resentments. And at some point, they're going to act against you. Going through that process and figuring out, digging up that seed and figuring out what it is, should be the most exciting process in your life. Because if you do it, all the stuff that we're talking about, all the bad circumstances of the world, everything you're facing, you will reverse that power. You will discover your superpower. You will be motivated. You will know what to ignore. It's not worth my time to be watching this podcast or reading this book. It's not worth my time to be wasting my energy doing this, that, or the other. I know what I want, okay? When you're 21 or 22, man, you can go, if you figure that out, it doesn't have to be so specific. It just has to be, this is the general direction I want in my life. These are the people that I want to end up being like, even though I'm going to be myself within those parameters. Then the world will open up for you and you'll have a little bit of that radar that will guide you through life, okay? If you're 30 years old, it's different. In the 30 years old, you go through the thing of, where did I go wrong? Because you wouldn't be going through this process unless you went wrong. If you were going right, then you can ignore everything. Most likely, where did I go wrong? Why am I in this shit job? Why am I unhappy? Why am I drinking? Why am I addicted to this, that, or the other thing? My frustration, my unhappiness is speaking to me. It's telling me something. It's telling me that I took a wrong turn. All right, now go back and figure out where you took the wrong turn and what it was, how you can perhaps correct your path. So oftentimes you choose a wrong path for reasons that have to do with money, with what you think is status, what other people think is cool. Look at your first choices, like you're 23 years old and you decided to go work for like a big corporation and now it's sucking your soul out and you feel empty and frustrated. Okay, I'm frustrated, I'm unhappy. Well, I chose to work in this kind of soulless environment and I quit when I was 27 and then I started working as a barista. Okay, I went wrong there. All right, so that's not where I was meant to go. All right, what was it out of college that I really wanted to do? What was it that excited me? What is the path I would have taken, perhaps, if I hadn't listened to my parents, if I hadn't followed this dumb idea? What is it that I could have done? And at that point, if you can have just a tincture, a little flash of enlightenment about that, then you can start building on it and you start going, all right, I took this wrong path. All right, now I have to head in a different direction. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to stay being a barista because that's not going to lead anywhere. I have to figure out a career for myself. I can't give up the 8 years I spent out of college. That's useless. That's not going to go anywhere. You're not 22 anymore. I have to adapt what I learned in that time and I have to apply it in a different direction. You have accumulated, hopefully, a set of skills. Maybe one skill, maybe two skills, maybe three skills. If it were in the case of you, it was creating a product, marketing it, then being a podcaster, then creating this animated world, then this educational stuff. You've got 4 or 5 sets of real skills there, but you're not satisfied. How can I take these skills and package them and move in a different direction that is a new frontier for me, that excites me, that builds on what I have? So it's actually an advantage in a weird way, but the disadvantage is you're rigid, you're set in your ways, you think you know the answers, you're not so fluid anymore. You're not willing to make a change in your thinking. I take those skills that I have, I adapt it to this new world, I have to adapt myself to this new frontier. Can I do it? Because when you get older, it's hard to do that. It's hard to say, I'm dealing with a new generation, I'm dealing with a new landscape, I'm dealing with my own obstacles in my set ways of doing things. Can I overcome them, kind of thing. You have to find energy and love in life. There's something that you're doing that maybe isn't going to be so thrilling like this new career path that I'm saying, but it will be more energizing. You have to challenge yourself. So a lot of feeling stale and lifeless is you've run out of challenges. You've conquered, you've done what certain things, but now you don't need to rise to the occasion anymore. You've kind of reached this plateau. You need to create a challenge for yourself. So within the business that you have, that you've been doing, whether you're working in an office for someone else or you've started your own business, I'm going to do something a little bit bold. I'm going to start a new venture that's just like my old venture, based on all the same skills, but it's a bit of a risk. To take a risk, to shake yourself up a little bit. It's not a similar thing, but with me and my books, I never try and do the same book over, right? Because I know if I did, I'd be bored as hell. I need challenges. My mind is so active, I can't even describe it. It's terrifying sometimes. So when you have a sense of purpose, when you know what makes you unique, when you know what your calling is in life, then if you hit a moment where you want to quit, you know, all right, I'm not going to quit. I just need to go in a slightly different direction here, because I know that this is what I was meant to do. These are my strengths. These are my good qualities, etc. I got depressed. I got down on myself, but I never gave up. I kept saying, I'm meant to write. I'm a good writer. I have a way with words. I'm undisciplined. I have flaws. I'm not good at anything else, but I can write. I have a message. I have something to say. And it kept me going. It kept me going after all of these circumstances in which I think a lot of people would have given up at that point. And I didn't give up because I had that inner voice saying, you're meant to write. You're good at it. You've developed skill. Don't give up. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. It picked me up every single time. And so when I look at people and I go, they don't have that. And I understand that. It's very sad. Because if they face a situation like that, they give up. And then they go funnel down a dark tunnel, a dark path in life. That's why I wrote Mastery. I don't want you to get into that downward syndrome. I want you to see the fact that you have an overall frame, an overall purpose that gives you that radar. So when things are bad, you don't give up. You just say, I need to make a slight course correction to where I'm going in life.
Life involves resistance. It involves pressure. You can't get anything that you want in life. There are things that are always causing you, stopping you, impeding your progress. It could be other people. It could be forces going on in the world. It can be a pandemic. It can be your own mortality. So there are these resistant factors in life. And you can either crawl inside yourself and go into a shell and complain and whine and feel like a victim and say, oh, life is so much against me. Or you can embrace that, and you can use the pressure and resistance to develop yourself inwardly. So I talk in this chapter about people like Nelson Mandela, who's thrown into a prison in South Africa, some of the worst conditions you can imagine, right? He uses that experience. It took him years of a lot of work, but he used that experience to kind of find a way to not let it affect him and not let him dominate him and control him. And he developed kind of an inner freedom, and he developed out of that experience this message of love and forgiveness. He could forgive even his oppressors, right? So instead of using that moment to feel all defensive and feeling like you're a victim, that the world is against you, to go out into the world, to go outward instead of inward and project something positive. And that's what pressure and that's what pain and suffering should be like. Pain and suffering are actually sacred. They're actually a blessing in disguise because they take you out of your normal day-to-day routines and they show you what life is really like. Life is harsh. It's difficult. There's death is waiting you, but you're living in this kind of floating world where you're completely, outside of that. You think everything's just fine. But when you're suffering, you're directly confronting the reality of life, right? The fact that all animals, all living things have to go through this, it kind of connects you to the suffering of all creatures. And it's a sacred experience because it's lifting you out of your life And it's giving you the possibility to transform yourself psychologically, intellectually, and spiritually. When you know that your time is short, when you know that everything is impermanent, it makes you appreciate the people around you, it makes you appreciate the life that you have. We don't realize it, but the human brain creates the world that we perceive, right? Literally. You think you're seeing the world as it is, but that's not true. It's the brain creating it. It creates colors. It takes images that are all sharp and all hazy, and it creates sharpness. It creates objects. It creates borders around things. That's not how things actually are. An eagle or a dog or a cat, they don't see the same world that you see. It's something that our brains create. Our brains create a world for us. And when your brain breaks down, as in a near-death experience, and oxygen is cut off from reaching the brain, suddenly you're actually experiencing the world as it is, not as the brain filters it. And it's an ecstatic experience. It's complete ecstasy, because you realize that we see like a subject separated from an object. Like, I'm different from you. I have my own world, you have your world. But when things break down, you see that that's actually an illusion, that everything is really one. Now, that's a cliche, and I'm just putting words to it because it's a feeling. It's not things that go into words. But when you come close to death, it is an ecstatic experience. And I'm reading a book right now called Near-Death Experiences in the Ancient World. It talks about ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, India. And the idea is all of our concepts of heaven and hell and the afterlife really came from people who had near-death experiences. There's a definite connection between people's concept of an afterlife or what happens to us after we're dead to people who have near-death experiences. And mostly, it's a very positive experience. You can take, and the movies have been made about it, people who are miserable, who are unhappy, discontented, who hate everything. They have a near-death experience and it completely alters them. Sometimes what motivates you are kind of the demons that are inside of you, and you don't realize that. You think they're angels, but they're actually demons. So part of my problem was, growing up, was I never felt good about myself. I never felt like I was doing enough. I never felt like I was respected or loved enough. So you take that with you through your whole life. You never leave that behind. And it makes you always want to do more and more and more to please people, to get attention, to get that validation and that love that you never had. So part of my compulsion to continually work has a slight negative origin, I definitely believe. But on the other hand, my mind is so active that if I don't have something to put it onto, I get depressed and I start chewing on myself, consuming myself. Having too many choices is very paralyzing. So knowing that this is the day I have to wear this, this is the day that I use this shampoo, I don't have to decide, I don't have to think about it. So it gives life this kind of ease to it. It's not my decision, it's just the ritual, it's deciding what I do. A lot of suicidal people were ambitious. In fact, because they were ambitious and they had no success, they felt very suicidal, they had very low self-esteem. But I know I can do something great. And that sense of disappointment in yourself, of frustration, of knowing that you have potential but you can't realize it, was what made me feel deep down very, very depressed. And very much like, if I never find this, what is life worth? What is it? My work and creating something is so important to me that if I can't do it, I don't want to live. And so it was my ambition that actually drove me to feeling depressed and suicidal. And I would be a child and I'd be looking at the world and I'd be going, they're all actors, they're all fake. They're all playing a game, you know? I can't say I intellectually thought that when I was 5 years old, but I know that was a deep part of my experience, is observing people and how fake they are and how they're always pretending and they're always laughing when they don't really feel it, and they're smiling, they don't feel it, and they're telling stories to kind of get rid of their pain. People have a lot of pain inside of them, but they try and mask it with a smile, with a laugh. I'm not judging it. That's a good thing in some ways. But they're actors. Everyone is an actor. And looking at my parents and their parties revealed to me at a very early age that people are just acting,